Hello, everyone, and today we have with us Ms. Simran Dalia, an Associate Account Executive at EdFactors PR. So, before moving on, would you please tell us something about yourself?
Hi, Sonia. Thank you so much for having me here today. It is such a pleasure. So, to tell you a little bit about myself, I was born and brought up in Darjeeling. I did my primary schooling from there, and then I came to Siliguri in West Bengal to do my higher studies, and I also did my graduation from here. So I did a BSc in Media Science, and yeah, after that, I think I did my internship with Equations PR and Media in Mumbai. So that lasted for 2 months, after which I came back, completed my graduation, and then I started working with Equations again for a couple of months. And that led me to Art Factors. So that was basically my education and work. But yeah.
All right. So could you please elaborate on the company you're currently working with?
Okay, yeah. So Art Factors PR is one of the largest PR agencies in India. And along with being one of the largest, it is surprisingly one of the youngest among the top PR firms that are there in India. I think it is one of those, like, institutions, or I wouldn't even call it a company, but like a PR institution where all young PR professionals want to be a part of, like, be associated with. It's, I mean, for me, ever since I was in college, it was a dream. I just wanted to be a part of Ad Factors PR, like no matter what, no matter how, like, and it was a very funny dream for me because I was in Siliguri, that's our like smallest city, one of the small cities in West Bengal, and Ad Factors is a huge company in Mumbai and having its branches all over India as well as Singapore and Sri Lanka. Okay, so it was like a dream for a girl from a small town, and I knew it's going to take me a couple of years to accomplish this dream or even come closer to that. Okay, so so but that is how the company is, like, it's like a dream for young professionals, and so it was for me. But to give you a little bit about more information about the company, it's like I told you, it is one of the largest PR agencies in the country. So it has over 400 retained clients that it serves, that it gives services in public relations, it gives services in social media, digital media. So basically everything that is there in public relations. Okay. And among those 400 companies, there are big corporations, there are government bodies, there are financial institutions, and there are also like FMCG companies, like, all these kind of different sectors. Now, what is very striking about Ad Factors PR is that since it being very culturally, like, strong and very ethical, it does not deal with clients in the tobacco, meat processing, alcohol, and gambling sectors. So it does not associate with them. Other than that, it has its presence, like, presence in most cities, and it deals with a lot of clients, including startups and unicorns. I think I forgot to say that. So these are the kind of companies you have in the like in the book of clients, and anybody who wants to work with any kind of client can obviously approach Ad Factors PR for any kind of work that you want to do. Also, another striking factor, if I may add, is that Ad Factors was it was named the agency of the decade last year in 2020 by Provoke Media. It was like one of the 7 global agencies. So that's a huge achievement for a company so young among the top other firms that are there. And it is only one of the many accolades that the company holds. So yeah, that's most of it. But other than that, it is a very knowledge driven, it's a very culturally strong, ethical company. Like, I'm saying knowledge driven because my experience in the past 10 months has been very it's been very different than what I would expect from a company. Like, from from a big corporate, you would just expect like a labor work, right? 9 to 5, just do all the deliverables. But Ad Factors is more about growing you as a person and like growing all the employees. It's more about helping you explore yourself. So yes, that's a little bit about Ad Factors PR.
All right. So could you please brief us about your job profile specifically?
Yeah, sure. So I am an associate account executive. I started, I joined Ad Factors as a trainee. since I did not have a, I didn't have many years. I joined, I can say I joined right after my graduation, although I worked another 2 to 3 months with Equations, the company I was interning at. They were very kind enough to provide me a job offer role right after my graduation. And after that, I joined Factors. So since I didn't have the couple of years of experience, or, didn't have that, so I had to join at a trainee level. So from trainee to associate account executive, it's been great. So to tell you about my job role, other than everything that is there on the internet, that is media tracking. Basically, media tracking is you read various newspapers, you see news of your clients or anything that is relevant to them. And other than that, there are lots of processes. There is content writing, of course. There are a lot of client servicing things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis. There is media relations that you have to build. There is being the communication bridge between your client and the media, getting them the coverage, driving the narratives. So other than that, there are a whole another aspect also to the role, that is learning, for instance, at a, so that is the best part when you join a company very young, you are young, you don't know anything, so you get to write a new chapter, right? So you can start exploring. You don't have to, there is no what do I say? There is no one railway line that you have to walk on. If that's an analogy I can derive here, it's like you can be anything and everything, and you can try different things and learn different things. So at Factors currently, that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm learning a hell lot of things. I am so also, yeah, Factors has this ages old association with Upgrad. So all the employees, they have to be they have to learn. It's one of the upskilling things that they do along with various other things. So all the employees have to learn digital marketing and social media course. And it is a vast and extensive course. Okay. It's like a 8 months thing, 6 to 8 months thing, I think. So I'm doing that also currently. And, I'm client servicing. I am doing all the processes, internal processes of the company. So to sum all that up, I can just say that I'm learning right now, I'm just trying to find my place. I'm building I'm being building myself in the process of being a part of the team. So all these things basically, yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's going pretty much good. So during an interview process, how was the question and answer phase handled at your company?
All right. I don't know. It was one, memorable thing for me, especially because, like I said, Factors was always a dream, right? So after I sent my resume and I was informed that, you'll get a call from the HR, from that day till my final interview with the founder, Mr. Madan Bell, it was an experience in itself. And it's not about just the question answers, but that whole process. It was a very new, yet it was a very different thing for me. So I gave my interview virtually, okay, because it was 2020 and everything was virtual. So I gave my entire interview process was virtual. I had a couple of rounds with the HR where we had conversation rather than interview. It was, yeah, that was the best part about the entire interview process. It was not, okay, Simran, tell me about yourself. Okay, Simran, you did this, tell me this. Okay, Simran, this, that. No, it was more about, indulging in a two-way conversation. As I told them, my interviewers about myself, they also told me about the company culture, what they're expecting out of me, what the job profile is like, what I should be expecting, and how is the growth map like, what Factors believes in. So it was a very, get to know each other kind of conversation. Since it was Factors, so I believe it was very refined. It was not like other interviews that I have participated in the past. So yes, it was great. It was overall a great experience. And coming back to your question about the kind of questions that were asked, it was very basic. like, tell us about yourself. What do you know? Like, what are the kind of newspapers that you read? What do you read in the newspaper? And it was more about like uh, the media relations that you have. Like, since I had given, I had been in the industry for like a couple of months before that. So it was like, what are the media relations that you have built? What are your future plans? What sectors have you serviced? What sectors do you plan to service? So basically all the kind of questions you get asked in a public relations interview. But other than that, the part I would like to emphasize on is the whole conversation part, which was really like, a great experience. Yeah.
All right. So would you please tell us some of the skills that are really very much important for a profession which you are in, and some resources for gaining such skills?
Yeah, sure. So, this is something that you are asked to research on in your maybe second year of mass comm or a media science education, like, because you want to develop that skills and be industry ready, right? So we were asked to do the same in college, and we researched, okay? And then I still remember I had this class notebook, and I listed down 10 skills, okay? Reading, writing, communication, media relations, okay, internal communication, external communication, presentation. So all those 10 skills I listed down. And then my mentor, she asked me, okay, Simran, rate yourself out of 10 on those skills, okay? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So I like, I was very not so confident about myself. Like, even if I was writing, if I had written writing as a skill, I had given it a like, underscore, and I had written like creative writing. And I was not sure about the technical writing part, okay? So, and even I had downgraded myself in everything, like, even communication, I gave myself a 5 out of 10. Writing, I gave myself 4 out of 10. And my mentor was like, why have you downgraded yourself so much? I was like, because I don't know how they are going to be expecting the kind of skill that they are going to be expecting out of me. I'm not there yet, I don't know myself. And then she was like, but confidence is the number one skill that should be there, and you are lacking in that. And I was like, oh God, that makes sense. So, confidence, number one. I think believing in yourself, there's nothing greater than believing in yourself. And then comes everything else. Like, writing, reading, internal communication, external communication, public speaking. Public speaking is not something, I don't see it as something like, it's a necessary thing, but I see it as something that is very a add-on skill. Like, because if you can speak publicly, then I think it becomes very easy to build relations later, or it becomes easy to communicate. Like, I know, and not just limiting it to the public forum, but I think these are like, the skills that I was made to research on, and then I started building on that. But other than that also, like, there are skills like, and honestly, the list that I worked on in 2018, okay, that would be the exact same answer I would have given you, Sonia, right now. I would tell you, okay, these are the skills. You tell this to your viewers, and this is what they should, like, build themselves on. But after my experience of working from home for almost a year now, it's been roughly around 10 and a half months. And before that also, I was working for 2 to 3 months. So the dynamics, it has changed. The skills are like, it's become very, it's a very, very, very wide term, I feel. It's no more tangible. Like, you can't define a particular skill, or you can't, like, you can't just rely on one or two. I think it has become more diverse, and it has more to do with your personality now. I think empathy being number one, because you need to build that in, like, wherever you go. Not only public relations, but if you see, like, any other job also, empathy, being able to trust somebody else, like, teamwork and team management, that we just used to see as a collective project. But now it is more about, understanding your teammates, being able to work with multiple personalities. And these soft skills, I think, like in leadership, of course, leadership is like a one quality you can't compromise on, because it's a huge, like, it's a very huge, what do I say? Not a job profile, but a huge industry. And you can't do public relations alone. Like, you can be a doctor alone. You can be a great engineer alone. You can be a great architect alone. Even being an artist, you can be a great artist alone. But, to be a PR professional, you can't do that alone. You need your team. You need your, you need your mentors. You need new ideas from new people. So it's always a people work, a together thing. So I think building all the people skills is very important now. It's very necessary, over and above the tangible skills that are there. Yeah.
Okay. So moving at the end, I would just ask you to give some tips for our viewers.
Sure. So I still believe that I'm at a, not that I still believe, I know I'm at a very nascent stage of my career. So to give a tip would be to, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not there yet to give a tip to people. But of course, there are a couple of things that I've learned in my process, and I can share those experiences for people to not or maybe do those same things that they would like to. So one was peer pressure. Never choose the career, and not only this career, but any other career under peer pressure, because, let's not apply for ad factors because, oh, my friend is applying, and, oh, because I should also, because it's a great bond. I don't want to lose it. Let's not be that. Okay. Because wherever you go, you're going to be making friends. You're going to be making lots of friends. You're going to be losing lots of them. It's basically a part and parcel of life. But when we are freshers right out of college, we just tend to base our decisions upon what my best friend thinks. Right. So it so happens that, my best friend, okay, one of my very close friends, she is in the, she chose media. Okay, so she is with one of very reputed media company that is there, and I chose public relations, which are like two different things, but also two things that have to work together to service the clients, or service the viewers for them. So I and so the relationship between a PR and media is one very crucial. So although we were going two different paths, we knew that, we are going to be together somehow. And even if for somebody, like another friend of mine who totally went to business, like a whole different track, which is not media related, I know I'm going to be connected to him. So don't let peer pressure ever get to you. Okay. Number two thing is, I think you should have the eagerness to learn. Like, that is what helps you build yourself, develop yourself, become a better version of yourself every day. So if you don't have that, it's going to be difficult for you to sustain in the industry in the longer run. Because, you should always be open to ideas, no matter where you are. I mean, 10 months back, I was open to ideas. 10 months now, 10 months later, I'm open to ideas. And 10 years from now, I'm still going to be open for ideas, because there is no, dearth of ideas, and there never will be. So you should always be open to new approaches, new people. I think that is another tip. And the third and the last one is be flexible. And I should have said this at number one, but yeah, it just struck my mind. So being flexible, I think, takes you to a lot of places, and it's just something you should practice. Like, I know some people, I know people, I I know some people who have, like, this fixed ideas, fixed approaches to things, fixed attitude, but I don't think so that's going to take them anywhere, or it's going to help in the longer run. So maybe being a little flexible to people, to approaches, to ideas, and also to the way of working. Like, it doesn't harm you to try out new things, to fail. I think failing is very important. I have failed multiple times. So I think failure does not define. Yeah, I've literally failed multiple times. And not only that, failing in class subjects, but failing in things that I wanted to do in life. Like, I just wanted to, so before all the PR fever, I wanted to just study English and maybe, like, build a career out of that, maybe write a book. I totally failed there, but then I didn't give up on that. Of course, I still write sometimes, so maybe that is someday in the future kind of thing, just not right now. But it brought me to something that I really like now. Like, public relations is something I really found fascinating when I studied in my college course, and now I'm doing it. So don't be afraid of failures. I think I would suggest, please fail more often because it teaches you a lot of things, hell lot of things. And yeah, be flexible. So just these small tips.
Okay. Thank you
Or
for
rather
such an
life
amazing
lessons.
tip. Okay. Thank you for such an amazing tip. So I would like to add up one more question. How has been your experience overall, and how does your day looks like in this currently job that you're doing?
My experience has been amazing. It has been surprisingly amazing. Like, I have, like, since I'm a very people's person, so I hated the idea of this working from home, and I could not wait for my company to call us back. I was like, please call us back, please call us back. I just want to meet my colleagues. I want to sit in a, like, environment where all teams are sitting together, working together. And I initially was dying to be called back, and I was like, oh my god, I can't do this alone at home. But I think Ad Factors is just one company that, that does not make you feel alone at any point of time. Even if you are working from home, your team is always there. You need some help, you need some advice, you need some, a group discussion to happen right now. They're always there. So my work life has been extremely amazing in the past 10 and a half months now. I have learned a lot. I think, the person I was, like, before I joined Ad Factors, and the person I am now are two different people, honestly, in terms of the knowledge that I have received, in terms of the kind of things I know and I want to know now. And also in terms of, like, how open I have become. Like, I feel I have become, like, very, uh, a very different person. I feel the change and I feel it's been amazing. And so how my day looks like in my current job is, I wake up in the morning, I track newspapers, I read stories, I see what is relevant to the client and not. And then we send updates to the clients, like, oh, see, this is where you have appeared, or oh, see, this is what we should utilize, or we suggest ideas, like, this is a great story, this you should read it as well. So basically that whole counseling thing happens in the morning. And then there are a bunch of reports that goes to the client, which are based on the media stories. Then there is building media relations, like, reading all the, like, since so I'm in the financial services team, so I read news that are related to financial services. Okay. And then I read upon the people who have written it, and then I'm like, oh wow, this is a great story. So building building media relations there. And then there is a day-to-day work that goes into client management, like, just the processes, a normal day. And a major chunk of my day also goes in learning. So so Ad Factors has that upgrade thing I told you right earlier. So
Yeah.
learning, so yeah, I spend a day or an hour or two in a day, basically upskilling myself. And I chat with my colleagues, we have some good time because everything is just virtually right now. So I try to get some, like, knowledge session from my seniors, just normal chit chat. So it's a pretty chilled, at the same time very thrilling, at the same time very knowledgeable, at the same time very, I can't predict my day next day kind of day. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right. So it was amazing talking to you, and a very good session that I had with you right now. So would you like to say something at the end?
Same, yeah. I would just like to thank you for this wonderful conversation that we've had today. I don't remember, like, although I have given tidbits to my close friends that how working at Ad Factors is like, but I don't think so I've ever been so vocal, or I was ever planning to be so vocal about my experience at Ad Factors. So it's been great. I think it's everybody who gets to work in their dream company can relate to all the things that I said. So yeah, I would like to really thank you for the opportunity for, like, giving me this platform to, like, communicate with you and your audience. So yeah, that's all.